Happy holidays from Decker's Nursery and Florist. I'm Conrad. I'm the owner of Decker's Nursery. Today we're going to spend some time with you in our Christmas tree yard. So for thousands of years, plants and trees have been a very important component of the holiday tradition. So at Decker's, we enjoy being part of that tradition and being able to offer you a great selection of fresh cut Christmas trees. Right now we're standing out in the block of the Fraser fir trees. So these are our most popular tree. What I wanted to do is just show you some of the things I look for when I'm selecting the tree for my home or if I'm helping a customer with that. So Fraser firs, for those of you that aren't aware, have a little bit of a silver hue to the underside of the branches. So it's a very nice effect. The other reason that Fraser firs are very popular is because they have very durable branches and they can hold a lot of ornaments and light. So this is our best seller, are the Fraser firs. We also carry a line of balsam fir and noble firs. And I think you'll find that these are very consistent no matter where you're going to purchase your tree. So the first few things I look for are the form of the tree, to make sure the branching is consistent all the way down. I'm looking for any broken branches. What I would like to point out to you is no tree is perfectly symmetrical. So these trees get maintained to keep a conical form to them, which is nice. But there's always going to be a side that's less dense than the other side. That's the north side of the tree. So when you're evaluating, just be aware that you're going to have one side that's less full than the other. The other thing that you want to be looking for is to make sure that the needles are staying on the branches. So everybody knows this test. We see everybody does that when they come. Is just run your hand down the branches to make sure that the needles aren't falling off. Do not be concerned about the needles, the dead needles on the inside of the tree. That's a normal process. As the trees mature, everything inside the tree dies back. It doesn't get sunlight, so those that don't work don't eat on a tree. So don't let those dead needles be a concern for you. That they're insignificant for the health of the tree. So this tree is in really good health, very fresh. And the north side of the tree I spoke about is on the back side. So if this tree were going in my house, we would turn the tree where that goes back into the corner a little bit. So the other thing I'll evaluate is the trunk, to make sure that the trunk is straight, that it doesn't have any bends or sweeps or any damage to it. You can see where some branches have been cut off. And right now I'm thinking, okay, I want to get this tree into a stand, so I may have to take a couple of the lower branches off. But we'll be able to assist you with that decision when you're at the nursery. Today I'm going to get help from one of my colleagues, and after you make the selection of your Christmas tree, we're going to prepare it for the trip home. The first thing we do is we put it through the baler, or we put it into the netting. And you've all seen this when you purchase the tree. We spoke about the benefit of buying your tree early. So one of the things you want to keep in mind, these trees are freshly cut, right? So our trees get cut right before they go on the truck. It's one of the reasons that our trees last longer than a lot of other Christmas tree sellers. So they're cut right before they get transported to us. If you've taken the tree home early, what we encourage you to do is to put it in a bucket of water. So we'll make a fresh cut on the tree while you're at the nursery. Once you get it home, set it in a bucket of water so that it begins to drink. This year, we've had a lot of people call because the tree isn't actually absorbing water when they first put it in the stand. That's a good sign. That means the tree doesn't need it, that it's so fresh that it doesn't need to replenish the loss of moisture. But anyway, once the tree is in a bucket, it's going to keep it fresh until you're ready to take it inside the house, okay? But you want to keep in mind that fresh cut is very important, okay? What you want to be aware of when you make the fresh cut is all of this tissue around the extremity is where the tree absorbs water. That's called the cambium tissue. That's how the tree absorbs the water. Everything on the inside is dead tissue, and its primary function is just to support the tree. So I'm going to make a fresh cut on this tree. So you like to get a nice flush cut so the tree sits square in the tree stand. But now I've exposed all of that cambium tissue so that the tree has the ability to absorb. If you notice this, the tree has already calloused off. If we just set that in the tree stand, it wouldn't have the ability to absorb water. Okay? The next thing we do, so you want to keep the tree netted till you get it inside the house. The primary reason for that is so it's not as wide, it's easier to carry and transport without doing damage inside the house. So I'm going to ask for a little help from my colleague Matt Gregory. He's going to help me set this tree up inside. It's always a good idea to have two people on the tree so that you have better control, you're less likely to break something. So we'll take the netting off. Once you get the tree to the location, the netting comes off very easily. Just take a pair of scissors, make a single cut up the side, and the tree will unfurl itself. You just want to be careful you're not doing damage in the house. That's, always a concern. So once you get the tree out of the netting, it's time to get it into the stand. So just a brief comment on some of the stands. So here at Decker's Nursery, we carry 3 types of stands. We have the Tree Genie. This is ingenious. You set the tree in the stand, you use your foot, and the tension comes in uniformly. So this has become a very popular tree. It makes setting the tree as easy as that. Somebody would hold the tree, another person tightens the banding, and voila, you're done. The most popular tree stand we sell is the Cinco. This is a very good value tree stand. It has a large reservoir, so it can hold a lot of water. The bolts are uniformly around so that you can adjust the tension to make sure that the tree is straight. And then this has become this is a stand we bring in. We have a company that manufactures these for us. One of the big problems once the tree is up and decorated, and a lot of people put a lot of ornaments and weight on the tree, the length of these legs secures the tree so much more than the other 2 stands that you're seeing. So this is something everybody, I remember as a child having a tree come down after it was decorated. Took a little bit of the joy out of holiday that time. But this is a stand that you're going to have for decades. It's made out of steel. It has a very deep reservoir. We have them in every size that you could possibly need, from a 5-foot tree up to a 14-foot tree. This stand here is designed specifically for a 7 to 8-foot tree, and gives you a lot of balance, as you can see. So Matt's going to set the tree in the stand. Okay. See, there's a little spoke at the bottom of the reservoir that kind of locks the tree in place. We're going to turn the tree to try and find the best side that we want looking out. And then as he holds that, all we're doing is just securing the bolt. So the first time around, you just snug them up, just make a little bit of contact with the trunk. Don't tighten them all the way on the first go around. Okay. Now we have contact. We're going to try to make sure the tree is straight. And one more second. Okay, step back. You see we have a little bit of a lean to the left. We can adjust that with the bolts. So Matt, just tighten that bolt on your side a little bit. Okay. And we're ready for decorating. So once again, you know, if there are any ways that we can help you with your holiday preparations, we'd love to answer any questions. Hopefully this video today will help you a little bit. One of the most important things you have to remember with your tree is it's so important to hydrate it. So we made a fresh cut on the tree earlier to expose that cambium tissue. We're using the preservative, and there's several different brands of this. It's always a good idea to use this. This allows the tree to absorb water more efficiently and effectively. So you pour half of the bottle into the 2 gallons to start with on your first go around, and then through the season you'll continue to use that every time you add water. So use a watering can. There's some other methods that make it a little easier. We have a funnel. So if you can't get under the tree because it has so many gifts and presents, you can use the funnel and pour the water in that way. But the thing you want to keep in mind is this is what's going to assure the longevity of the tree. Once it's in, you have to check the water constantly for the first week or so. It has the ability to absorb gallons of water right away. Once the reservoir goes dry, the tree will react and start to harden off so that when you add the water back in, it will not be able to start drinking. So that's one of the biggest downfalls that we see is the reservoir goes dry, the tree hardens off, and then it loses the ability to start drinking again. So be very diligent about checking your tree a couple times a day when you first set it up. Okay, it's not uncommon to take several gallons right away. It's also not uncommon for it not to drink. So we've had several calls this year because the trees were so fresh, they didn't need the water. Okay, so that's a good problem. Anyway, these are some tips that I hope are going to make your holidays more enjoyable. And always feel free to visit us at Decker's Nursery and Florist if we can be of assistance. Thank you.